Welcome to the Kawasaki K3VL drive shaft removal and installation video. As always, please use caution when following this procedure. Safety glasses are recommended. Please note that failure to follow these instructions could result in hydraulic fluid leaking from the pump or other malfunctions. In this procedure, we will be replacing the input shaft on a K3VL pump. To complete this procedure, you will need the tools listed. Begin by placing the pump on a clean, secure work surface. Locate the displacement adjuster screw and measure the exposed thread length. Note the length. Use a 30 mm wrench to loosen the displacement adjuster lock nut. Use a 10 mm Allen bit or wrench to hold the adjuster screw in place while further loosening the lock nut by hand, being careful not to remove the lock nut from the adjustment threads. Then turn the adjuster screw clockwise, being careful not to adjust the screw below the lock nut, as this may dislodge the internal stopper plug. Orient the pump vertically on the work surface. If you have a keyed shaft, remove the key from the shaft. Wrap the shaft with masking tape to prevent damaging the shaft seal when removing the seal cover. Use a 6 mm Allen bit or wrench to remove the 4 socket head cap screws from the seal carrier. To assist with removing the seal carrier, thread 2 6 mm socket head cap screws into the jacking holes. Remove the seal carrier by grasping the screws, making sure to avoid touching the shaft. Remove the O-ring from the pump and place it back in the seal carrier. If you have a keyed shaft, insert a bolt or lifting eye into the threaded hole of the shaft. Using a slide hammer, grasp the pump shaft with one hand and, using the other hand, operate the slide hammer and pull up on the shaft, maintaining constant pressure until the shaft is removed. If the shaft is splined, use 2 pry bars and place the flat end under the splines. Gently and evenly pry the shaft and bearing out. Once released, grasp the shaft and bearing and remove. Secure the shaft and remove the snap ring using a snap ring pliers. Remove the bearing spacer and set aside. Press the shaft out of the bearing and set aside. Remove the bearing washer and set aside. Note the orientation. For the replacement shaft, install the bearing washer in the same orientation. Flip the bearing over on the press before installing the new shaft. Press the new shaft into the bearing. Reorient the shaft. Reinstall the bearing spacer that was previously set aside. Install a new snap ring and ensure it is fully seated. The replacement shaft assembly is now ready to be installed in the pump. Install the replacement shaft by carefully aligning the shaft splines with the cylinder. Use a rubber mallet to gently tap the end of the replacement shaft assembly until it is fully seated, applying a minimal amount of force in order not to crack the set plate. Wrap the end of the shaft in tape before installing the seal carrier. Ensure that the O-ring is properly seated in the seal cover groove before installing. Gently slide the seal carrier over the shaft, being careful not to touch the shaft. A slight twisting motion may be needed to align the mounting holes. Thread the 4 socket head cap screws back into the seal cover. Torque to 22 foot-pounds. Remove the tape from the shaft. Restore the displacement adjustment screw and lock nut to its previous noted dimensions. Torque the displacement lock nut to 235 Newton meters or 173 foot-pounds. The pump is now ready to be used in a new application.